The galaxy was busy, very busy. Wars burned stars, empires shouted power, fleets filled the dark. Every species wanted to be seen. Big ships, sharp weapons, bright flags. Loud messages crossed space. Threats, warnings, promises of victory. In this noise, humans existed, quiet. They were listed in records, but no one read that line. Humans had no claws, no thick skin, no natural armor. Their bodies were soft, their teeth were small, their eyes looked fragile. Other species judged fast, too weak, too slow, too emotional. Humans were placed at the edge of maps, far from trade routes, far from wars, far from interest. No one feared them. No one watched them. That was the first mistake. Human ships were simple, not big, not beautiful. Gray metal, old designs, small engines. They did not shine. They did not scare. Human planets were calm. No giant cities in space, no glowing rings, no massive defense lines. From far away, human space looked empty. But empty is not the same as nothing. Inside human worlds, life moved. Factories worked, schools taught, screens showed numbers. Humans counted things. They counted time, they counted distance, they counted failure. When a human ship broke, they asked why. When a system failed, they wrote it down. When something hurt, they remembered. Other species celebrated victory. Humans studied loss. The galaxy never noticed, because humans did not speak loudly. They sent short signals, simple words, no threats. They never joined wars. They never claimed systems. They watched. While one empire attacked another, humans watched routes. Where ships passed, where fuel stopped, where signals faded. They learned how space moved, how fear moved faster than ships, how pride blinded leaders. Human leaders did not shout. They listened. They listened to reports. They listened to mistakes. They listened to silence. Silence taught them more than noise. A young human officer once asked, "Why do they fight like this?" An older human answered, "Because they think strength is loud." Humans thought strength was quiet. The galaxy used simple ranks, strong, useful. The war did not start near human space. It started far away, between two strong empires, both proud, both loud, both sure of victory. Their fleets were huge. Ships covered the stars. Weapons burned light. Commanders smiled. The galaxy watched. Everyone expected fast results. One side wins, the other falls. That was normal. Then something strange happened. A ship did not return. No explosion, no signal, no wreck, just silence. Commanders waited. Minutes passed, then hours. They blamed delay. Space is big. The next day, another ship vanished. Still no alarm. Small losses happen, they told themselves. But then supply ships failed. Fuel stations reported empty. Maps showed safe paths, but ships never arrived. Crews sent confused messages. Our screens show clear space, but we see nothing. Some ships turned back. Others moved forward. More silence. The galaxy started to whisper. Not fear yet, only confusion. The losses were counted. 1, 3, 7. Still small, still easy to ignore. Humans were not mentioned. Why would they be? They had no war fleets, no attack history, no threats. Human space was far, quiet as always, but hidden inside data, a pattern slowly formed. Every missing ship passed near the same region, a narrow, dark zone near human borders. Analysts noticed, then dismissed it. Humans are harmless, they said. The idea felt stupid. How could weak species affect strong fleets? So the files were closed, but the losses continued. Not fast, not dramatic, slow, careful. A repair crew vanished. A scout ship failed. A cargo fleet never reached port. No battle sounds, no weapon traces, just absence. That scared some commanders, because enemies you cannot see are worse than enemies you can fight. One young analyst looked deeper, not because he was brave, but because he was bored. He compared paths, signals, timings. He saw something wrong. Ships vanished after small signal errors, tiny delays, minor changes, things others ignored. He asked permission to report. Permission was denied. Do not waste time on ghosts, they told him. Wars need focus. But ghosts kept stealing ships. Crews began to fear travel. Pilots hesitated. Supply lines slowed. Victory slowed. The galaxy felt discomfort, like a stone in the shoe. Not pain yet, but something was wrong. Still, no one blamed humans. Humans stayed silent. Human ships moved as always, slow, careful, hidden. They did not chase fleets. They touched systems, very lightly. A tiny signal here, a false reading there. Nothing violent, nothing obvious. If discovered, it looked like error. If questioned, it looked like accident. Humans learned this long ago. Big actions bring attention. Small actions change outcomes. The galaxy did not see them, but the galaxy started to feel them. Losses were now official. Numbers on screens. Credits lost. Time lost. Trust lost. Commanders argued. Someone suggested sabotage. Another laughed. From who? There is no enemy. That was the truth, and also the danger, because the worst enemy is the one you do not see. Far away, inside human space, no celebrations happened, no cheers, only reports, only quiet rooms, only eyes watching numbers. Humans were still nothing, on paper, but the galaxy had begun to lose, and it did not yet know why. The galaxy believed in fair war, clear enemies, clear fronts, clear victories. Ships faced ships, weapons met shields, strong fire decided winners. Humans did not believe this. Humans believed survival mattered more. They learned this early, when they were weak, when they lost often. Fair fights had almost ended them. So they changed. They stopped thinking like warriors. They thought like problem solvers. A problem does not need force. It needs removal. Human ships did not attack fleets. They never stood in open space. They never fired first. Most times, they never fired at all. Instead, they touched systems, very gently. A navigation relay adjusted. A sensor value shifted. A timing delay added. So small, no alarm noticed. Enemy ships followed perfect maps that were now wrong. Ships arrived too early or too late. Docking points empty. Refuel stations offline. Crews felt uneasy. Their screens showed safety, but space felt wrong. Some ships met each other by mistake, not battles, collisions. Others jumped into empty zones where help could not reach. Humans never chased them. They waited. Waiting was safer, cheaper, better. Captured crews were not harmed. Humans brought them aboard, quietly. No shouting, no chains. Medical checks first, food next, water always. Captured soldiers expected pain. They expected anger. Instead, humans asked questions. Are you hurt? Are you hungry? Do you want to send a message? Confusion spread. Why help us? Human answer was simple. Because fear makes bad choices, and bad choices end wars slower. Humans wanted wars to end, not to burn. They returned prisoners, sometimes within days, sometimes with maps, correct maps, showing what was broken. Commanders did not understand. Why give this back? Why reveal errors? But humans knew. Fixing one mistake creates 10 new ones, because pride refuses to accept help. The galaxy called this strange, unfair, dishonorable. But dishonor did not slow losses. Losses continued, quiet, clean, invisible. Human leaders watched reports. No cheering, no pride, only calm faces. They tracked morale, supply speed, pilot hesitation. They saw fear rising. Fear travels faster than ships. Once fear enters a fleet, weapons feel heavy, orders feel unclear, time stretches. Humans never insulted enemies. They never mocked victories. They stayed invisible. That made them terrifying, because the galaxy could not fight them. You cannot aim at silence. You cannot bomb patience. You cannot threaten someone who is not seeking power. Human strategy rooms were plain. No banners, no statues, only screens, showing movement, errors, delays. One human planner said, "We are not winning, we are removing options." Another replied, "And soon they will have none." The galaxy still did not see humans, not fully, but commanders began to whisper, "Something is guiding this chaos, something careful, something smart." They searched for enemies, but the enemy did not look like one. No fleets, no flags, no threats, just losses. Slow, steady, unstoppable. Humans were still listed as nothing, but fair wars were failing, and the galaxy was running out of choices. The galaxy always counted victories, trophies, captured worlds, broken enemies. Losses were ignored. Losses were shame. But now, losses could not be hidden. Screens filled with numbers, ships missing, routes failing, time slipping. Commanders stopped smiling. Meetings grew longer. Voices grew sharp. Every empire blamed another. You delayed supplies. You shared wrong maps. You broke the route. Arguments replaced plans. The war slowed, not because enemies were strong, but because movement became fear. Pilots asked questions. Is this path safe? Has anyone returned from here? No one had answers. That scared them more. For the first time, accountants were invited into war rooms. They did not speak of honor. They spoke of cost. Credits drained, factories slowed, repairs delayed. The numbers were ugly. The galaxy felt the weight, not of defeat, but of bleeding, slow bleeding. Still no battles explained it. Weapons were unused, fleets stood still, yet losses grew. Someone finally said it. We are losing without fighting. Silence followed. That silence felt dangerous because it was true. Analysts were ordered. Find the source. Find the pattern. Find who benefits. Data streams were opened again. Old reports reread. Dismissed files returned. Paths compared. Signals aligned. A shape formed.
thin, sharp, like a blade. The missing ships, the delays, the false readings, all brushed the same space. Human space. The room reacted. Laughter first. Humans! Impossible. They have nothing. No fleets, no weapons, no history. But laughter faded, because numbers do not lie. Losses followed the same shadow. Human borders. Still no attacks traced, no weapon marks, only absence, only error. One commander whispered, "What if error is the weapon?" No one answered. Fear shifted from enemy fleets to enemy thinking. The galaxy had always prepared for loud threats, bright wars, big explosions. No one trained for quiet damage. Human space remained calm. No fleet movement, no alerts. Human ships traveled as before, slow, routine, like workers going home. This scared the galaxy because it showed control, control without force. The count continued, not daily, hourly. Losses of trust, losses of time, losses of confidence, all added up. Someone finally asked, "Why have humans not claimed victory? Why stay silent?" Another answered, "Maybe silence is the victory." The galaxy looked again at human history. Short wars, fast recovery, careful records. They did not glorify battles. They archived them. They studied mistakes. Suddenly, old human sayings were translated. The quiet blade cuts deepest. The council grew uneasy. If humans were responsible, then stopping them would be hard. You cannot threaten someone who does not want territory. You cannot punish someone who gains nothing visible. The galaxy realized something painful. They were not fighting humans. They were losing to method, and method has no face. Human records showed no pride, only preparation. The count reached a line where losses mattered more than pride, and that was the moment the galaxy truly noticed humans, not as weak, but as unavoidable.
The Galactic Council was called not for war, not for victory, but for fear. Every empire sent leaders, ships full of power, weapons on display, flags waving, eyes sharp. They expected debate. They expected blame. They did not expect humans. Humans arrived quietly. No fleet, no guards, no weapons, only people. Small figures, simple uniforms, calm faces. The council whispered, "Who are they?" A human speaker. Humans spoke quietly, not to threaten, not to boast. They explained truth. You cannot bomb patience. You cannot block planning. You cannot force learning. The galaxy trained for power, for weapons, for shields, for fast attacks. Humans trained for endurance. They trained for loss. They lost early. They learned early. Every failure became data. Every pain became memory. Enemies forgot their mistakes. Humans remembered. Every battle, every error, every misstep. Humans adapted, slowly, silently, relentlessly. The galaxy thought strength was noise. Humans proved strength is quiet. Ships vanished before attacks. Crews panicked before alarms. Commanders argued before decisions. Time itself worked for humans. The galaxy tried to fight, but they fought what they could see. Humans fought what they prepared for, and that was invisible. A young admiral asked, "How do we stop them?" A human smiled. "You do not stop us. We are not enemies. We are consequences." The galaxy realized this was worse than any fleet, because you cannot fight consequences. You can only endure them. And humans, They never ran, they never panicked, they never quit. Even when losses hit hard, even when hope seemed small, they waited, they learned, they prepared. And slowly, without anyone noticing, they changed the balance of the galaxy, from weak to unstoppable, from nothing to inevitable. The wars ended not with explosions, not with fire, not with victory speeches. The galaxy waited for humans to strike, but humans did not strike. They did not march, they did not demand. Human space remained small, quiet, still, calm, yet influence spread. Slowly, invisible, unstoppable. Commanders realized losses were over, systems worked again, fleets moved safely. But the galaxy had changed. Every empire had counted, every fleet had faltered, every plan had failed. And the cause was humans. Humans who had never shouted, never boasted, never asked for attention. They had never fought, yet they had ended wars. They had saved lives. They had taught patience. They had turned loss into power. Now the galaxy recorded a new truth. Humans, from weak, from small, from nothing, became inevitable. From silent corners of space, they had shaped the fate of millions. Empires whispered their name. Respect mixed with fear. No one forgot. No one ignored. Humans did not celebrate. They did not flaunt power. They returned to quiet, back to their planets, back to their work, back to counting, back to learning. Because humans knew true strength does not roar. It waits, it learns, it survives. And when the galaxy counted losses, humans were never losing. They were always ready. They were always watching, and they were always human, silent, steady, unstoppable. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Never underestimate the quiet. Never ignore the small. Never forget the humans. For when nothing is counted, nothing can become everything.